pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just take the roll, please.
Okay, Keel.
Here.
Bowen.
Here.
Parachek.
Here.
Mattson. Here. Schilling. Here. Mayor Jones is absent with notice. I don't believe.
He's absent with notice.
He's absent with
The
notice.
last
Did you say
meeting,
something
I
at the last
believe,
meeting?
yep.
Okay,
Yep,
we got
see
Carlson absent with notice.
All right, do we have any additions to the agenda? If not, need a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on, need a motion to approve the minutes of our previous meeting from 2/17/2026.
Motion to approve meeting minutes for 2/17/26.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any bills? I don't
No
see any
bills.
bills submitted for payment?
Nope.
So we have none of those. At this time, we have an opportunity for some public comment. Please state your name for the record.
Frank Cadera.
Frank Cadera, thank you.
Good evening, members of the City Council. My name is Frank, and I am a Hartford resident here tonight to engage more actively in local government. I would like to propose that the council consider permitting backyard chickens within city boundaries under reasonable regulations. This could include allowing only hens, excluding roosters, establishing a maximum number per household, requiring an annual permit or licensing fee, and ensuring chickens are kept in clean, secure, and properly protected enclosures. Backyard chickens provide families, especially those with children, with fresh eggs and help reduce households for food waste by eating scraps. Some Belgian cities promote backyard chickens as a waste reduction strategy, reporting lower levels of organic material in landfills. Chickens also help control insects and rodents, which are useful near storage areas such as here in Hartford. When managed well, chicken manure is a natural fertilizer for the garden. Many communities, including Sioux Falls and other South Dakota cities, have implemented backyard chicken ordinances, balancing benefit with neighborhood cleanliness and noise concerns. I urge the council to review similar policies in the future. Thank you for your time, service to the community, and I hope you all have a blessed night.
Thank you for your time.
Frank, I am so I've been on council, I think this is going on, it's my fourth year, right, Teresa?
I think so, yeah.
And you are the first person in the 4 years that I believe, I know it's been done in the past, who's actually came here, because I'm a pro-chicken guy.
I am too.
I'm probably, clearly, I probably will never have chickens, even if my wife and I move out to the country. My encouragement is, and I know I went to a meeting, there was a meeting at the brewery, this was a few years ago, a couple years ago maybe, because there's a backyard chicken program. I know, Jill, your husband's involved in that. I was the only person that showed up to that meeting. It was one other lady and myself. So my encouragement is, if you want chickens, obviously you have to have a majority, right, to make that happen.
I like chickens too.
Yeah, so like right now, and my term's up in November, so you got two pro-chicken people, but
Again, I don't want chickens, but
yeah.
not yet.
This is a
Not
long
yet.
fight to go.
But-
It's a long fight to go.
You do have
Because I know
people that have
interest.
interest. Just curious what ward, where do you live in town?
Yeah,
I live just one block down on Hartford.
so he's in my
So
ward.
it's in your ward.
He's in my ward, yep.
First Street.
Yep. My encouragement is, if you ever want chickens in this city, there has to be a real movement of people that really want it. You have to get momentum, and then you have to call the other counselors, meet with them or encourage them, but I'm pro-chicken,
Could bring
thank
it to a
you.
public vote.
You could do a public vote on it, but it takes,
Circulate a petition, that's an option.
but that takes work too. That takes going to people's doors, going through the legal process, but thank you, because literally, you see it on Facebook, I'm just gonna,
Yeah, join
I
Facebook.
have
Okay,
seen a lot.
okay.
no, I've seen people, they all want chickens. I'm telling you, in 4 years, you're the first person to come up here and actually do what you did right there. And that right there is a good step, but that will never be enough to persuade the people that are a little hesitant on it, but thank you.
You gotta get them on the agenda. so,
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
I also agree the community, actually people in town who are citizens of Hartford
course.
supporting it is important, because I think in the past, when it has come, I've kind of asked around my ward and neighborhood, and there's not widespread support, so I think it takes some of that, like you said, maybe a process getting people on board with it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Limit that discussion to 5 minutes. We've got 2 minutes left. Moving on.
Gobble, gobble. Oh, that's turkey.
That's
We'll start with chickens. We'll start with chickens first.
that turkey sounds a lot like a turkey. Visitors.
You do have to gavel. You
We
can,
have Tyler Tordsen, President and CEO of our Sioux Metro Growth Alliance. He's here to give us a regionalization update and to discuss America's 250th celebration. So thank you for being here, Tyler.
Hey, members of council, good to be with you guys again. Appreciate the opportunity to just come visit and check in. Don't have a ton of substantial updates from the last time I was before you guys. We do want to share just a couple broad SMGA updates, regionalization updates, and then just some other things kind of on the horizon. And then happy to share kind of what I know on the America 250 stuff, some of the South Dakota efforts, how you guys as a community can encourage more involvement, and some different examples on that front. Just broadly for the Sioux Metro Growth Alliance, we continue to stay super busy on a lot of different fronts and stand ready to assist not only you guys and city staff, but the business community, your residents on other things that may come up. We have a hard time saying no, and we have a lot of resources at our disposal too, to where if anybody has any questions or has some ideas, we're happy to listen, happy to look into them, provide answers, or get you in touch with somebody who does right away. So just be sure to lean on us anytime that we can be helpful to you. Also know that over the last couple of years, we've added more strategic partnerships, Economic Development Professionals Association, which is doing a lot of the kind of legislative tracking and peer. So you guys are automatically members through that, automatically members of Southeast South Dakota Tourism. We do some promotional stuff with like 605 Magazine and Sioux Falls.Business with Joey Schwan. You guys, I see a copy out there too, have our quarterly magazine that we have total editorial control over, our Growing Places magazine. We're always looking for story ideas. We want to tell the stories of your people and your businesses and your community. If you know of some really cool stuff that needs to get out to a wider audience, please let us know. We have a lot of different platforms to help get that word out. A simple email or text, or get somebody connected to us. We're happy to try to run that down to lift some of these stuff up. Broadly on the kind of like the bread and butter, kind of why do we exist and what do we do, is obviously helping existing business community retain, expand, navigate challenges. It doesn't matter if they're large employers, manufacturers, industrial, or whether they're small businesses, whatever it may be, and everything in between. We also are in a good position to help kind of recruit or facilitate the right projects in the right locations, whether they're looking at relocating to this region from another part of the state or from another state altogether. And we've been working on finding more avenues for those kind of leads, not just relying on the Governor's Office of Economic Development or waiting for the phone to ring. We have other partnerships that give us more bites at the apple, if you will. So I'm pleased to, without getting into any specifics or names or projects or ideas or that kind of thing, there are a lot of active projects that we're working on, big and small. A lot of them that we are pointing towards Hartford too, just to kind of help run that stuff down. So that's some interstate activity, that's industrial park opportunities, that's small business activity too. So again, I won't get into any specifics like that, but just wanted you guys to know that we're actively working some leads and working with the relevant stakeholders on all of that. And again, we stand ready to assist your Chamber of Commerce and any other group too with any additional support that they may desire. So just know that. On the regional wastewater project, a long time coming. I can't remember what all I shared with you guys last time, but when we had our first call after we got the congressionally directed spending kind of grant award notification, we had our huddle with EPA out of Denver and talked about, relative timeline and does this grant expire? Do we have to have it expended by a certain time? We had to go backwards and do kind of the initial planning phase first before we get to design and construction on this regional conveyance system. And I had given them an ambitious timeline of what I thought was realistic, and they laughed, and now I know why they laughed. It's because they kind of control kind of the stop and go on a lot of stuff. So it's taken a lot longer to get this kind of first phase launch, but I'm pleased to share with you guys that we do have a contract in place, signed for our phase one, kind of the planning process here. That's what we've been waiting for. It should have been launched last summer. We ran into some delays and running down some technical things that had to get sent to EPA's headquarters for review and back and forth. So there's a lot of back and forth. Government shutdown, October, November into December didn't help. But we're back on track. Contract is in place. We're waiting for final award stuff, but that should take us, I would say, best case scenario, kind of 4 to 5 months, but more likely kind of 6 to 8 months. So in that 5 to 8 month range before we'll get that kind of report back. But that'll give us a lot of the answers and direction that we need to be able to move into kind of the next steps of that project. So separate from that regional, kind of the pre-engineering report for the regional wastewater study, I mentioned in front of you guys last time, happy to engage with another one of our SMGA member communities, your guys' neighbor, Humboldt, and having conversations with them to find a wastewater solution that makes sense for them as well too. Pleased that you guys have your treatment facility online and made that strategic investment. We want to support you guys in using that for good. So couple just kind of key dates for you too, upcoming things that you guys should be invited for. If not, I'll make sure that you get it. But March 18th is our annual meeting and our award banquet, where we get to celebrate kind of the previous year and hand out some awards from our Sioux Metro region. So that's March 18th, 2026, kind of 4:30 to 6:30 in Sioux Falls. And then our typical bus tours in May and in August are still scheduled as planned. We're also looking at adding an additional bus tour opportunity to help trade some ideas and exchange some community visits in April this year as well too. Before I go into kind of the America 250 hat, any kind of questions or comments or ideas or anything that you guys have on the SDG front?
On the 5 to 8 month, that's when we'll kind of get the study, or that's when you guys will get the study back from EPA.
Yeah, so we're contracting with AE2S, is the engineering firm.
Yep.
Yep, and so that's where we'll have the kind of the final report. We'll have kind of monthly progress reports as we go along. There's a couple other kind of mini milestones in between. And then we also do have factored into the grant and into the contract of doing stakeholder engagement and community engagement updates along the way. So within the next 5 to 8 months before we get the final report, we do intend on coming back and sharing progress updates as we go with you guys.
Okay, that's the only question I had, right? I was gonna ask how Crooks is feeling about, but hey, how are they feeling about hooking up the Sioux Falls for wastewater? But that's too early to tell.
I think you'll find a lot of people in Cook's not very happy with Sioux Falls, but that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, anyways, that's all I got for that.
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk about the 250th, but.
Cool. Great.
You and Sean should talk maybe about a marketing idea Sean had to solicit businesses to come to South Dakota.
I do have an idea.
Yeah, happy to, it's offline. And
I'm gonna send you an email
yeah,
about some other stuff because I get your updates, so I'll connect with you on that.
perfect. Yeah, that sounds great.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, you bet.
That was literally going through my mind as he was talking. Yeah.
So on the America 250 front, there is a South Dakota Commission as well too. That was established by Executive Order in 2023. Kind of the mission of that is to engage, educate, and unite South Dakotans to deepen their understanding of American history and South Dakota history, our democratic process through education, increased engagement in our communities, civic affairs, statewide celebrations, local celebrations, to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the foundation of the founding of the United States. I will tell you, it is like the whole year. I mean, it's not meant to just be July 4th. Right? It's the whole year. Could even trickle into multiple years if you want to get into like the Constitution's founding and that kind of thing. Really just an opportunity to unite, especially in polarizing times. Campaign election year is always kind of tough too, but we want to have different opportunities to show that we have a lot more in common than we do kind of opposed. So for the fun of it, countdown to July 4th, 2026. 122 days away, 11 hours, 25 minutes, and 1 second. We have a nice countdown clock on our website too. So, America's 250th.sd.gov is a really good one-stop shop for you guys. America's 250th.sd.gov. On that, it mentions kind of how to become an official partner. There is a partner resource guide, which I'm happy to send over to you guys as well too. In that brochure, if you haven't already gotten or considered it, I would encourage you to consider passing a city resolution, just kind of putting your stamp on it, that you guys are kind of no doubt in line with wanting to celebrate America's 250th in South Dakota and for your community. Becoming an official partner, organizations can become partners, chambers can become partners, local governments can become partners as well. You get listed on the website there. Don't be scared off by, it kind of mentions like to become a partner, here's the application form, and kind of here's the expectations, and you will do this and this and this. I'll tell you, we don't have like an American, or like a South Dakota 250 like enforcement committee or anything either. But
Good intentions suffice.
it's really good intentions, we're all in this together. But there's just a lot of ways that any community events that you guys are putting on can get added to the State Historical Society website. Trading logos, having America 250 and the South Dakota Commission logo. You hopefully have seen some of the flags. Maximizing Promotions is out of Sioux Falls is the official South Dakota partner for the South Dakota logo flag. That's been really popular. There's been a lot of news stories in the last month of businesses purchasing those flags and flying them. Communities rallying together and getting the kids and putting it up at City Hall or at a prominent location to kind of help celebrate and kick it off. So there's that avenue there as well. When you get listed, a couple other examples, like I was just going and clicking around, Chamberlain, Oklahoma, through their Chamber of Commerce, has really, what we see as a good best practice is passing the resolution, being an official partner community, and then finding, some communities have done like a 250 task force or a committee, getting groups together that are going to kind of take the lead and plan some of the events. Again, you can just take your regular event. We're not trying to make you totally reinvent the wheel, but you can use it as an opportunity to bring more people together, bring more people from the region together, a tourism opportunity too, and an opportunity for more people to spend and celebrate and have fun in your community. Chamberlain, for example, I was going through their stuff. They have a lot of local events. They converted their annual awards gala that's coming up here on March 14th into a Most Curious Murder Mystery Dinner. And so they got all sorts of cool stuff on their website. A lot of different things that they're doing throughout the year. 4th of July, patriotic parade, and encouraging people to dress up like Revolutionary Era. There's a lot of different fun things that you can do. Or you can just repurpose again some of your existing events. You can do history stuff. Locally, another thing that we're seeing is planting a Liberty tree. You can do that with a plaque. There are some grant resources that are out there too to help cover costs of some of these plaques or historical markers, or to help pitch in for firework displays. If you're interested in any of that stuff, let me know. I can help get you connected on what's still available out there. Time capsules is another easy one. Nationwide, they're doing a time capsule, and South Dakota gets a little box. The state itself is going to do, I think it's at least 3 official time capsules they're going to pick what state parks. They're going to do that later this year. But we're encouraging local communities to do their own kind of time capsule as well too. You can set, like 2076, kind of a 50-year window or whatever makes the most sense for you guys on that. A lot of other examples too that you can go to. And then also the America250.org website has a lot of national resources for some of the nationwide trends. But really want this to be a local opportunity to bring people together.
Awesome, thank you. Their time capsule is kind of kicked around.
Hope to do it before 50, because you'll be...
Hey.
That's the point.
There'll be drugs that'll keep me alive for years. But let's see, that's also Hartford's 130th. So, something we probably missed some opportunities. We should probably have hired or assigned somebody to be more 250th minded than we currently have within the community. But who knows, there's maybe.
There's still time.
Yeah, it's never too late.
Absolutely.
And a lot of communities are tying it together towards their like 125th or 130th anniversaries too.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Tyler. Always appreciate your updates, and this 250th deal could be really cool. Looking forward to it. So.
On the website, sorry, one last thing. On the website too, when you do, there's a resources tab, and I'll share this with you, Teresa, too, but in the partner brochure is where it's got like the template language. I'm not sure if you can just release
Is
it now
this
for
the brochure
resolution. It
you're
is.
talking about?
Yeah.
We got that then, so.
All right.
Maybe
Excellent.
something we have to put on the agenda
Thank you.
to have a robust conversation
Have a good evening.
about.
Yeah, I kind of just threw a little bit with this one, but you
Yeah.
guys get you guys thinking about it, but maybe the next agenda or two, we can start talking about what exactly we want to do or things that we think we can do, and not. Like we kind of brought up before, Craig's already mentioned it to the Jamboree Committee, and maybe trying to incorporate something to their event, whether it's red, white, and blue or parade theme or something, you know, and kind of talk to them and the women today with that. I think it'd be really easy to do some banners on Main
Yeah.
Street here. I mean, that would look nice and put that in there. Yeah, point out that it's Hartford's 130th, so I don't know. Just a little bit of swag, some t-shirts or something, so I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some things just to start thinking about, so yeah.
Sounds good.
Then the next one.
When does the Jamboree Committee commit to their theme, or when?
They've already made a theme.
We've had a few meetings. The women of today are the ones that actually pick the theme. So we brought it up at the last meeting and talked to them about trying to remember to incorporate something with this, so. Next meeting will be next Monday, I believe, and it'll be at the fire station.
Maybe we could send them some of this information too, just so they can see what other communities might be doing.
Yep. do that.
Awesome. Okay, excellent. Moving on, we have applications, agreements, hearings, resolutions, and ordinances. First up, we have a special event permit for the Chamber Block Party. Information is in our packet, and I believe Jill's here to speak on that as well. Good evening, Jill.
Hello, how's everybody?
Good.
I have the applications for both the block party and the fall festival as well, and we're gonna combine the fall festival and trunk or treat this year, so we're just doing one Sunday instead of two. So they're basically the same as last year's. We have the same section of the road blocked off for both events, same expectations for both.
All right. So the Chamber Block Party is going to be held
On the
Wednesday,
15th.
July 15th, yeah, okay. There's also alcohol allowed within that closed-off area. So this just follows the same criteria as previous events, it looks like.
Yes.
Okay,
We will not be selling alcohol, but
No.
if the brewery is, then just for people to be able to walk around.
yeah, well, okay. So since there are two separate items on our agenda, there are two separate motions, I believe.
Make a motion to approve the special event application for the Chamber Block Party.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Call the vote. Mattson?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Vracek?
Yes.
Schilling?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Moving on to the Chamber Fall Festival and Trunk or Treat. That information is in the packet, as Jill mentioned. They're going to combine those events this year, so do we have any discussion?
Make a motion to.
I just want to point out, I think there is just one change. Instead of being in the Sunshine parking lot, it is just going to be on North
Yes.
Oaks there, right?
Yes, we're
Correct.
just gonna do it on the street.
The street, yeah.
Still closing off the same amount, but just so that Pizza Ranch can continue their deliveries without as much of us being in the way and just keeping kids out of the parking lot overall. And it provides more parking that way, so.
Oh, yeah, so North Forks from Highway 38 to Western Avenue. Yeah, okay. That's a big stretch.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the special event application for the Chamber Fall Festival and Trunk or Treat.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. Schilling?
Yes.
Vracek?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Mattson?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Thank you. Moving on to application. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you.
That was so easy.
There's something else we were going to talk about, but yeah, that's further down. Discuss application submission to South Dakota Games Fish Park and Park Trail Program.
So for this, we have the HADF had donated land for a trail that would go basically from 12th Street, up to the Swenson Sports Complex there. So we know we had that land available. The Park and Rec Board was talking about, grants and funding sources for it. And right now, the Game Fish and Parks have an 80-20 grant out there, which is probably as good as you can get at this point. That is for recreation trail specific. They encourage for kids and pedestrians. I think we have a good chance of, because we're trying to move kids in a safe manner up to, where they'll be to, for their soccer or their softball or whatnot. But the application time is open now. It is due though by April 10th. So if we want to submit it, we need to kind of get on it and gather information for it. ISGA kind of put together a preliminary estimate of the cost, a little over $281,000. So basically, if we did get the grant, it'd be about $56,000 for the city's chair. Obviously, they're going to go through it and kind of update their numbers and whatnot, so that might change slightly. But like I said, for that amount, I think that's a good opportunity to possibly get a trail up there.
I think anytime we have a chance to land an 80-20 grant,
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, we'd be crazy not to try.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm looking for now is just if the council wants permission to move ahead with the application process, I guess.
Do we need a vote or just a?
If you want to vote, that'd be great. I think that, I can also submit that in with the grant that we have the backing of the council.
Make a motion to have the city staff move forward with an application for the SDGFP grant for recreational trail program.
Second.
I'd just like to point out that this trail is on HADF ground, and
They deeded the
they
land
deeded
to us,
that
so
land
it is
over
our
to
ground
us.
now.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is a city, it's on the very eastern portion of that.
It'll be on the very east side of theirs. It goes basically on
then-
the east side and the north
North
edge.
side, yeah.
Over, yeah. And,
So-
yeah, but
This
part
will
of
get,
their.
this will get the kids to the park, huh? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so, with any development, they gotta donate 5% of it, so this is their open space contribution, and, yeah, it is already deeded to us, we do own it now.
Yeah, yeah, that happened right away. didn't it?
Yeah, yeah, year and a half ago, yeah.
Very good. Hearing no further discussion, I'll call a vote. Bowen?
Yes.
Horacek?
Yes.
Schilling?
Yes.
Mattson?
Yes.
And I'm a yes.
I'm working on it.
All right, moving into reports, we have the Minnehaha County Sheriff's Deputy Report. Deputy Rechtenbaugh,
How's it going tonight?
good, how are you?
February's report was taken from February 1st to February 24th. There were 131 calls for service, which was a decrease of 41 from January. There were 3 accidents, all of them were without injury, 29 traffic stops, which saw a decrease of 9, 6 warrant services, 5 citations, 15 case reports, and 6 arrests. Any questions?
No, thank you for the report.
Thank you.
You're seeing a lot more activity, I would assume, with kids out on the streets with the weather warming up?
Yeah, sounds like, I haven't, because they're still in school when I'm here, but
Sure.
it sounds like over the weekends, it's nice out.
Yeah, noticed it on our street, so, yeah. All right.
I don't want to open a can of worms, but
I know.
so I'm just gonna stay this, I don't want a lot of discussion, I'm not gonna, but me and Jonah were talking, and the sheriff's department is trying to work with the school, like during one of their assemblies or whatever, kind of talk about scooters and safety and whatnot, so here, that's a good move, so
Tis the
that's all I need to say.
Mainly at like a middle school assembly, it's their,
Yeah.
kind of the ones on those scooters for the most part.
So.
Got it.
Great idea.
That's a great idea. Boot scooting, booty.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Thank you, you too. All right. I'm not gonna gas you up like Arden does, but it is the city engineer's report.
I think there could be a conspiracy theory that Michael and Arden are out having fun.
Oh, yeah, I think you might be onto something, Michael in Vegas?
Yeah, not quite in Arizona though.
Close.
Okay,
So he says.
Quick drive.
So he says, yeah.
Very short
No, That's why I said
Yeah.
conspiracy theory, so, I don't know, but, nice seeing you all tonight. It's been a while. report is in your guys' packet, but just a quick summary on the 3 projects that we're still tracking here. A lot of other development reviews and stuff going on right now, specifically that North 38 development, and then had some preliminary plans for Turtle Creek development as well, looking at the next phase in that. So seeing an increase in those, which is good. You know, that's stemming from getting that gravity line in for the wastewater treatment facility to allow that land to be developed. So wastewater resource recovery facility, getting really close to, you know, finalizing that, closing that out, but still meeting as a group, I'd say City, ISG, and Rice Lake on a weekly or nearly weekly basis, just to, you know, track all outstanding items, any maintenance items, get those wrapped up, make sure we're good on operations there and address any items that come up. So still a work in progress, but have a good collaboration, good communication amongst the groups. Western Avenue would anticipate, you know, early spring, May, June timeframe, wrap up all those punch list items, and then we'll get that one crossed off the list. So that project's looking really good. Really fortunate to have the good weather last year to be 98% complete on that. So then the last one that's picking up right now is the Mickelson Road Shared Use Path. So I believe it was noted last time, got all of our approvals with DOT, so kicking off design right now, so in that design phase. As we hit those milestones, we'll keep you guys updated, but anticipate to have design done, I'm going to call it early spring, and then we'll get into the review process with DOT as it is state dollars with that. So we'll take a little bit longer review process than what we're used to with getting design done and jumping right into bidding. So just working with them, make sure we have approvals on their end.
So when you say you'll work with them, will they look at that connection to Highway 38 then, or, you know, because it kind of goes to 38, or not quite to 38?
For the shared use path?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't quite go to Highway 38, so it's pretty much Turtle Creek all the way up to the west. So that'd be a future expansion that we can look at.
We stopped it there because there was, if you push them up there, there's no crossing in that area, and the speed limit's still 50.
Yeah, it's not going to stop, it doesn't stop me from crossing that. I mean, that's the shorter way. So I just think at some point that has to be addressed. There will need to be a crossing and a speed reduction there, whether the state is seeing that or not. I would assume with their study they should.
Especially with,
With the other development we have.
So there's another study that's actively going on that's led by CCOG. It's Safe Streets for All.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys see much of
part of
that,
it.
but they were doing some, City of Hartford is part of it. They were doing some community engagement and through that identifying some of these high impact areas where you may have some of those collisions between pedestrians and cars, right? So identifying Highway 38 corridor in a lot of those areas is where we identified some of those potential improvements. So it's nearing the end of the study phase. I believe study will wrap up around June timeframe. Projects will be identified and then can apply for some federal funding. One of the challenges, you need to have some of those incident reports at those intersections to rank higher, you know, to get some of that federal dollars. But working with, you know, the city staff here to identify those with their consultant as well to prioritize some of those areas.
Yeah.
So
The development in that area and
Absolutely.
having that's the side where the walking path is then to get to the school as well.
Yep.
So people are going to cross there.
Yep.
They do it now with no sidewalk, so.
Yeah, sometimes with, just, I don't know, like they're the only ones out there.
Yeah, well, the speed, it's the visibility coming
Yeah.
out of town is bad around that curve,
Yeah.
so, especially if someone's speeding.
All right, in the packet, we also have a pay request.
Yep, have a pay request. It's pay request number 27 in the amount of $11,793. There we go. So the pay request is contingency use, and those items that were included on there was supply and install of exterior roof ladder access. There was a credit on some exterior garage door openers. And then from ECC, time and material ticket to add receptacle to light bulb for the city camera on there. So, like noted, that's a little over $11,000. No additional retainage is being paid out on this pay app too, just for your guys' reference. So, I'd be looking for a motion for approval for that.
I'll make a motion to approve the pay request number 27 of the Rice Lake Construction Group for $11,793.
Second.
Motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? I have a question about the outstanding punch list items. What percent down complete would you say those are?
Close.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at payout wise, it's 99.19%,
Yeah.
right? I would say it's generally about that too on the project. Unfortunate or unfortunate, I think we had some warranty items that came up that we weren't really expecting that has caused some of that time. I say fortunately because it came at a time when, Rice Lake is still here, they'll always help assist, that we can get on those flyers, we can get that new equipment and active warranty versus, right after that. So that has caused a little extra.
I think the biggest thing, so what he's talking about is we had that blower motor go down. It actually showed up yesterday. Contacted a rep, and he's gonna be here next week, toward the end of the week, to help get that installed. So that'll be one thing that they'll take off. The biggest thing probably in the punch list is starting up the press for the sludge, yep. So we've been trying to get enough sludge. We finally think we have enough now. We're trying to schedule it, because people are out of Canada that'll be doing the presentation for, or doing the demo for, showing us how to do it, and that stuff set up on it. So once that's done, that'll probably take care of a lot of the stuff on the punch list.
Is there travel and consulting fees that already paid for, or is that gonna come out of the contingency?
Should be
fund?
all, that's all part of the package
Of the
deal for the,
package, yeah, okay.
CMAR. Yep. Yep.
Sounds good. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. Bowen?
Yes.
Mattson?
Yes.
Schilling?
Yes.
Horacek?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. All right, thank you.
Awesome, thank you guys.
Moving on to our Public Works report. Superintendent Craig Wagner.
First off, for streets, something that Justin forgot to talk about on Western Avenue. We had a vehicle go into the ditch by the church and smoked one of the culverts. Took a pretty good chunk out of it, cracked it pretty bad. Michael's actually got the pictures. I took pictures of them, sent to him. We've got the information from the Sheriff's Department. I was contacted right away when that happened. I was actually on my way to Sioux Falls. And that will be getting taken, we got to figure out how we want to get that taken care of. It will be replaced, so. So I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it took a pretty good chunk out of it, so. So we'll be working through details on that.
On the south side or the north side? I
It's-
assume they were west, I
on the
assume they were
east
north.
They were-
I assume they were northbound,
Yeah, so it's southbound.
They were southbound.
No,
They're
it's the
northbound.
southbound side, they were
South.
northbound, yeah, and then
Yeah,
they
yeah.
hit it, yep.
Yeah, got
And
it.
I don't have any details on how, I've got 3 pictures that show it pretty good, so.
So how does that work with it? I'm assuming.
We'll turn in their insurance,
Okay.
yep.
Could be a costly thing, because they have to probably
Oh,
rip that
yeah, it's not
culvert
really-
up.
It's
Because
not
I've seen
cheap.
it, there is a chunk out of there.
Yep. So,
That's cheap compared to hitting the pump station.
That's true. Maybe we need some guardrails up there. It is a steep drop. I mean, I will say, if you take your,
We voted to put them up, didn't we?
we did,
Yeah.
ballots.
That's for the bollards.
Bollards, yeah.
Not bad. But you're driving on that road, you don't take your eyes off of West Road, because it's a quick drop.
True.
No.
That's less than that as well.
Go down the streets. Aztec was the low bidder for the slurry seal project this year. Sioux Falls is going to award them the package, or their portion of it. So it's up to every town to award their own part of it. We did have some increases that I wasn't looking for, so plus at the time that we went out to put this out, we were hoping to get better pricing. So we did add Western Avenue, which definitely needs to be done. So we're gonna look at taking out a couple of other roads to get within our budget for it, and then at that time, we will have you guys make a motion to award the package that are bid to.
I appreciate the conservative thought with that, and trying to stay within the budget, but the fact that we don't have any major projects this year, and I only see the cost of things increasing. I mean, personally, I would entertain asking the council to approve some additional funding to get it done, because we cut some out last year too.
Yep.
And so,
Trojan, I think.
yeah, so
Yeah,
that's.
Trojan
my-
got cut last year because of the
Slap.
construction.
Because of
on
the
West.
yeah, the
Yep,
detour.
all came through at
Yeah.
the same time, yeah.
Yeah, so that's just my opinion on that. I appreciate your being conscious, of the budget and everything, but I think there may be other years where we're forced to be more.
Cutting back more, yeah.
More restrictive, yeah.
So I will have it in my report next meeting, and just ask for the full amount for what the price came in, so.
Sounds-
So I won't be here, but I'll have it, make sure we get it on.
I won't be here either, so.
Well, I'll be here,
Okay.
so get it done.
You're gonna carry the mail?
Jeez.
So, moving on, with streets, or not streets are done, boulevard trees, I guess it was just about Jim Anderson. I did talk to him today about grinding. He's going to get to the old ponds and get that cleaned up. He's hoping to spring right away. We had a little discussion about future spot to haul branches to. He doesn't have anything, we don't have anything, so I was going to try to contact a landowner in the area, and see if we can maybe lease a spot from him to put everything out and do the grinding at a certain area. So I made a phone call today, never got an answer back, so I'll be working on that, trying to see if we got a spot to actually do some with branches. Otherwise, if we keep moving ahead with taking branches, we're gonna have to go to Poet in Sioux Falls, so, which is a long run with dump trucks that are shorter boxed, so we're still working on details on it, if we are gonna try to keep it or not. The only bad thing is for us as a city is we are planning on taking like 50-some trees down this year of ash trees. That's a lot of trees, so I'm hoping we can get a spot to grind again this year. So I'll keep working on that. Moving on, lagoons, we were out there the last Friday. I think probably by the end of this week, first part of next week, we should have the ice off, and we'll start moving the rest of that water over. So hopefully in April, we can have quite a bit of that done and start wrapping up some of our stuff up there in that property up there, so.
What is all the time frame for the lagoons? So I can only see the third pond, I guess, from the interstate. Your upper two ponds, are they at
So
anything,
we've got aeration A and aeration B, which are the main ones with most sludge and stuff in them, biosolids. We've got A pump down close before the ice, weather turned on us last fall. We still have the pump and everything in there, but it's all drained down, so we're ready to fire it up in spring right away. We'll probably got about another 1 to 2 foot to take out of there, and then we'll be at that biosolids depth. We'll take the pump from there, we'll move it over to pond B, or aeration pond B. It'll probably take us a couple weeks to pump that down. Once we get that pumped down, that's all going into pond 1. And then once we get pond 1, once we get those filled, then we'll take everything from pond 1 and we'll throw it into 2, which will only take probably a couple weeks to move that all the way over. Because you're looking at about probably 25,000, or 25 million gallons of water. So once we get it over there, then we'll sample it and see if we can discharge from pond 2. If we can't, then we're just gonna go ahead and dump it into 3, and then finish draining down 2 with pumps and stuff like that to get that as low as we can. And then we'll just have to hold on to the water until the pH and ammonia and everything comes around and we're in our limits, and then we'll get permission from Danner to discharge, and we'll be done with it.
So this year, we should be done with the ponds.
I'm hoping by first part of summer.
Wonderful.
Yep. That's my goal with it. We usually can discharge in spring, if it's right away. Once that summer warm weather hits, then we are in trouble again. But algae growth is high, TSS is high, ammonia starts to climb, jumps back and forth, so we want to get aggressive, and that's one thing. I'm gonna be on vacation here for a few weeks, 3 weeks actually, starting Saturday.
You know, 3 weeks vacation.
One of the list on the guys' thing, as soon as that ice is out.
Well, you got 7 weeks.
So one of the goals is, this month, is as soon as that ice is off, is to get those guys aggressively pumping that down. We actually got a bigger gas tank on the pump, so we can just fill it up and let it run, because we're only putting 650 gallons a minute out, and there's a lot of water in the pond, so.
Yeah.
So we'll be being aggressive with that and getting those done, so I'm hoping, like I said, early summer, we'll have them pumped down, so we're out of the way. Parks and that stuff, the bathrooms are completed, we're waiting for final inspection. I think the plumbing inspector and the electrical inspector are gonna be here this week, so we'll be completely finalized with that project. Neil and Eric just finished up shelter one, putting steel on that, so we got 2 shelters left, and we'll probably get started on those this week yet. AgriLime on field day, that's one of the projects that the park board wanted to get done. I was up there yesterday, or today, and they said it was real sandy, they couldn't play on that. It's not sandy, it's just, AgriLime's actually pretty good, it's thin. And the biggest thing is that it was that thin and it dried out and then it got soft and that's up where they thought it was sandy. So we're gonna be shaping those up, that's one thing I got one of the guys doing tomorrow is reshaping that, and then I'm gonna talk to ISG about having blue tops put out there so we know for elevation, so we're just gonna leave that stuff down for a good base, and then we'll bring them up 4 inches in and reshape that whole field and get that in shape, so. And then the other thing on there, and I don't know if we can even act on this, because I didn't put this on the agenda either. So we had Blackburn come over the other day again, just to recheck the gauge house. They gave us some options, different things. Pretty much the same as what we were looking at.
This is for the basement,
Yeah,
doing
oh,
something in the
excuse me, yeah.
basement in here.
Probably should explain a little more, I guess. So if you go down in the gauge house in the basement, it is a dungeon, basically. It's wet, there's dirt floors, there's a little bit of concrete. You can see some seepage, there's blocks that have come in, here and there. It needs a lot of work in there just to get it cleaned up, so it's not musty or anything like that, or we don't have rotting going on in the future. We're still in good shape with the foundation, everything like that, so we just need to protect it. So we had them come over there a couple of years ago, actually, and give us some prices, and we didn't do anything with it. We did budget some money this year, I think we budgeted $70,000. When the guy came over, he said, the original bid, they were gonna treat it more like a crawl space, where they're just gonna seal everything up good and have it, so you could crawl on it if you wanted to, but not really do much. We do have the 2 furnaces down there, so their proposal is to make a more walkable structure, so you can go down and actually change filters, work on the furnaces if you need to, or do electrical, whatever you need to do down there. So it came in it's a newer product that they just started using here the last few years, so that's why it wasn't on the original pricing that we got a long time ago. So it did bump it up just about $8,000 to do that. Me and Teresa talked about it, we don't see the building going away soon. We think we need to protect it and try to do everything we can to make sure we got good quality air down there and everything else, and we don't get molding going on or rotting going on. This will put in a couple stump pumps that we have backups on them in different portions of the building, with drain tile going around it and everything else, and try to trap as much of that water as we can and get rid of it, so I'll have that brought up on not my report, or maybe my report for next meeting.
We'll put an agenda for next.
That's
So it's just something to think about.
Yeah, is that amount, is that something we would need to put out for bid? No.
No, we don't, it's 100,000 on buildings.
It's up to 100 now?
So here,
Okay, in my head I had 50 or some reason.
and equipment's 50.
Okay.
A question I have, because that's a pretty substantial amount of money. We've got one quote on it.
Yeah.
Right. So I personally, I think it'd be really good to get a minimum
We
of,
could certainly try to get some.
I think we should try,
Kind
right?
of, they're pretty niche.
That's-
I can't think of anyone else.
I don't
that
know
knows what
anybody
they do.
else either, that's why,
Yeah.
they're right across the interstate here is where they're at.
Yeah. Well, we don't, I mean,
I could certainly do some
I think it
research
makes
and
sense
find
to do
somebody.
some research and see if we can get at least one more with a good, obviously a good quality, restaurant contractor, but at that amount, I feel.
Can't the city do it?
If I volunteer, the guys will kill me.
It's gonna be gone 3 weeks.
I mean, we've always been told like the labor for the city staff is just kind of in the budget, so think how cheap that could be done.
I would like to see another quote, and then I think, I know that building was, because the city bought it probably 4 or 5 years ago, right, with funds from the HADF.
All that.
If they do this in the basement, it'll triple the value of that building.
Yeah, that's how that works out, right? But I don't know.
This is more than I think what we paid.
It is more.
It is, we paid 30,000.
More than twice as much as we paid for it, yeah.
And the spending ain't done.
But then, I'm just thinking long term, you go and you put 80 or 90,000 into this old building, and I
But what's
know,
the alternative?
I said that we
We
had that
have
discussion
no
too. How much do you
alternative.
invest?
The
But yeah.
alternative is
How long is it gonna
to,
be
you,
around?
like, let it go to the very bare minimum, and then you have to shut the thing down.
If we knew we had a community center on the
Yes.
capital improvement plan in a year or two, it might be different, but.
Yeah, new community center is probably 8 million.
They did have some more other, another quote that they put together for us, is putting a couple solid beams across the whole thing and doing supports all the way along it. It is supported pretty good from, it's good, you know. We did re-support a bunch of stuff before we bought it to make sure it's gonna pass inspection. I told him, I said, I don't see that in a need. He said, the only reason why you do it now is if you had to support it in the future, then you're gonna be disturbing their product that they put down to cut it, to get.
what was the additional cost of that? Probably another $100
It came
grand.
to $129,000 with everything, so,
With the sports and everything.
yeah. So,
Yeah, 60,000 more.
so we think,
Again,
we're talking, I think it's
knowledge,
supporting.
you know, we don't know what we don't know. I would encourage you to bring all of that information to our next meeting,
Okay.
so that we can make, you know.
We'll-
We do it
we'll
the
put
first
it-
meeting when he's back. He won't be at the next
Yeah,
we
meeting.
can
so
wait, I mean, yeah.
That'll give him time to see if we can find a
Yeah,
second
yeah.
quote and
We can
whatnot.
send
like in
all
a
this
month or-
information so you guys can look through it and see.
In a
too.
month or two when you're back.
3 weeks.
Next summer.
3 weeks.
All right, that sounds good.
So, yeah, so we'll get that, more information, that stuff, and I'll look for another company that can possibly do the same work and that stuff. We'll see if we can get another quote, so.
That sounds good.
That's all I got in my report, unless somebody has something for me.
Thank you, Craig. Okay, thank you, Craig. Moving on to the finance officer report. Karen.
Yeah, my report's in the packet, and not much there.
There's a reminder in there about the equalization board meeting coming up on March 16th at 6:30.
Mhm. We do have all the forms now available to people to pick up if they wish to appeal. You can get them here at City Hall.
Street maintenance fee is mentioned in there. That's the phone. Okay, thank you, Karen.
Sure.
Moving on, our city administrator report, Teresa.
One thing, want to point out is first project update, you kind of got all of that. But with the Kelly Avenue drainage study, I think we've kind of mentioned it before, talked a little bit more with Arden. We were thinking about maybe in April sometime doing just a meeting, you know, with invite all the property owners along there, have them come in. We won't be able to have a quorum of the council, but if some of you can attend, ISG can be there, we can have some more, you know, open discussion of, you know, the various options and see if anybody's interested with, you know, moving ahead on the project, you know. Any appetite at all there, or yes, no, maybe, and then we know if we need to move forward with something or not. So we'll try to figure out a date in April and then let you guys know, and then you can kind of decide who wants to attend. And so we'll keep moving forward with that. As I kind of told you in emails out, we did get the council computers in, so if you guys want to leave your computers tonight, then IT will come in. They said they'll either come in later this week or early next week and basically just do the transfer of what's on your current computer over to the new ones, and then we'll get them all ready and hopefully have them by the next meeting. Did a little brief update on the cybersecurity assessment. As you know, DSU came in and did their assessment. I met with them, kind of a Zoom meeting. They kind of gave me a high level of kind of their findings or whatnot, and they're going to send out a report as well. When I get that, I should expect it probably this week. I'm going to compare that to the Homeland Security report because they all have suggestions, and then I'll kind of bring all the findings to you guys to review and decide, you know, what we think we need to move ahead with and what we don't. Actually, the one from DSU was very minimal stuff. A lot of it was IP stuff of having certain switches set a certain way to just kind of be a little more foolproof. We really didn't have a whole lot of stuff to, you know, nothing critical that we had to address right away. So that's a good thing. Like I mentioned last time, you know, they did 22 attacks on us and they didn't get through, so that's good.
Wow.
Also with that, I am working on a cybersecurity emergency plan. I got that pretty much completed. I'm going to have IT read through it, and hope to have that to be present to you guys as well, to kind of look, so we have basically, you know, our emergency plan. If, what do we do if there is a breach, or, you know, or if, you know, some does get through and gets
Is
in
it-
our system.
Mainly just like a reactionary policy, or is there like some business continuity planning?
There's some, it kind of does, kind of everything. So on the front end, what can we do to protect ourselves on the front, making sure we have the right firewalls in place and with the, you know, right programs in place. And then it's gonna be, okay, and doing training with the staff, because I know that's one thing on Homeland Security, and they do a session, so we're gonna get that lined up as well, because I think that would be important to staff on the front end. Yeah, don't open this suspicious email that says, hey,
I just sent
give me
Oregon
50 gift cards.
$300 of gift cards in Vegas.
Huh?
That might have been legit.
So it's gonna kind of be like what you do on the front end for preventative, you know, if you do have a breach, you know, it depends on, you know, what kind of a breach, what you do, you know, is it just something minor, or is it something that is critical? And then, yeah, how do you react to it? And then basically kind of a fourth step is, okay, we had this breach, what can we do to correct it so it doesn't go in the future, and just kind of, you know, follow up to it as well. And so kind of like a four-step kind of plan that kind of put together for you guys to review. So we'll have more of that in future meetings coming up, let you know. Did want to let you know, hopefully this is okay, but I would like to move forward with a couple of minor grants. Our AED here in City Hall is quite old. Linda Hartman has looked at it. It's at its useful life expectancy. We've had it for 12, 15 years.
Yeah,
probably.
it's outdated.
Really, it's
You
outdated.
can't even get
so-
batteries for them anymore, parts.
Yeah, I got a battery for it.
That'd be the last one you
But it's
get.
like, yeah, everything's getting outdated, so we need to update that. So, I'd like to look in and, you know, and she should have suggested this as well. We got that AED through the United Way grant. It's a 50/50 grant, which is probably the best one out there for it. So I'd like to apply for that too and see if we can get one to get City Halls updated. And then, Senior Citizen Center, their dishwasher there, they've been having some problems with it, as you guys know. It is a commercial dishwasher. I had a conversation, I thought that maybe a good grant for that would be the Hartford Community Grant, Community Foundation grant, because they kind of do little smaller projects that are community specific. Talked with Mark O'Hare, he says, yep, the timeline is now, so if we want to go ahead and apply for that, he's encouraged us to do so, so I'm going to apply for that one as well, and hopefully we can maybe get that covered by a grant as well. Last thing, District 3 meetings is being held, and this is something, it's in South Dakota Municipal League event that they always hold every year. The state's kind of divided up into different districts. We're District 3. They kind of go to, after the legislative sessions, they go to each district and kind of put on a meal, kind of give then everybody, you know, updates of what happened this year, what changes are going to be for municipalities or not. This year, our district meeting is going to be in Lenox, and it's going to be March 24th. So if you guys are, I mean, it's open to council people, staff, you know, legislators. If you're interested in going, let Karen or I know, and we'll get you signed up. I do plan to attend, so. But, yeah, just let us know if you're interested in going. It's a good
It is good.
update. Yeah, give you a lot of good updates there. That's all I got in my report. I do have an action item, though, two on this. Dakota Main Stem, every year, they like us to basically choose a delegate that would go to basically their annual meetings and have a voting right for the city. Since we are a member of it, we do get a vote on various items that come up, especially like at their annual meeting. I have been the named delegate, the primary delegate for this. They have asked that all the cities do, though, basically an alternate now, just in case, say they have their annual meeting and I can't attend it. It gives, we don't lose our vote, then we can have an alternate go and still have a vote. So they haven't made that mandatory, and they kind of have asked every city to do that now. So I would like, I'm asking for action to basically, they have a form in there that named me as, again, as the primary delegate for, but then have Arden as the alternate, so then if I can't, like I said, attend a meeting and something that needed to be voted on, he can, so we'd have representation from the city. So I would need a motion on that.
Make a motion to approve the primary delegation of Teresa Seidel and alternative delegation of Arden Jones as voting members on Dakota Mainstream Board.
Second.
All right, any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. Drawcheck,
Yes.
Bowen,
Yes.
Mattson,
Yes.
Schilling,
Yes.
and I'm a yes.
Okay, so I can let you have additional questions.
I was asked to bring up, I have a question on the AED at the sports complex. Did that end up inside, or is that one of those exterior ones?
It's inside.
It's an interior one, okay.
Yep.
It's not one that-
So it's always been in the storage area there, which all the coaches, they've got access to it.
Okay,
So the only time that people will be up there is when there's coaches there,
Sure,
supposedly,
sure.
so.
okay. Yeah, it's not like a city park or something,
Yep.
where anybody can be up there at any time.
Yep.
In reality, it should only be when it's utilized, so, okay. Until we
What
put
is the
Until we
typical
put the playground up there. What's the what?
What is the typical lifespan of an AED?
I think the battery life, I think it's what, every 3 years, batteries?
3 or 5, 'cause
3 or
I think
5,
we
maybe
replaced
5.
this one like 3 times. I heard.
The one we have, I mean, it still would work and everything, it's just they're weeding it out, so they quit making batteries for them.
Yeah.
So.
We test
we've
it
got-
every month, so we know it still works. I mean, we don't
Who's
test
the lucky
it.
recipient?
We don't test it. But you can go through to make sure you know the battery
Do the
life's out.
self-test.
We don't shock people.
So I was at the 24-hour refresher course here about a month ago, whatever, and they did talk about them being, that they're gonna be, anybody that's got this one is obsolete now. Coming up,
Yeah.
as soon as the batteries are done,
Get 'em
you're
out.
done, yeah, so there might be some other money out there. I know there's some government funding that's available for fire departments. I don't know if it'd be something that, the city really, now I can just check on it.
I think when we originally got this one, we got it through the fire
So
department.
that's something we could check on.
So I don't know, if maybe they got better
Yeah, we could check on that.
options for that.
Interesting.
Sounds good. And then I had sent that email out at the request of Arden regarding that 1-6 meeting and the garbage carriers and how we added an additional residential carrier and an additional roll-off. Now, those are, as Teresa's email alluded to, renewals. However, it's just, in my mind, a renewal, it was year over year, and in reality, we did add a residential garbage carrier. And so I don't know how we, I guess at this point, if there's an appetite for the council to discuss that in detail, we should ask Teresa to put it on our next council meeting, I guess. Or if everybody's fine the way it is, then we'll keep moving on.
I think I realized they were new to residential or to.
You did, yeah, okay.
I don't personally have a problem with competition, but I think I was, maybe didn't realize that, because I thought we had 2. Like I said, I'm pro-competition, but I didn't realize, I don't remember having a conversation about adding a third. I'm not opposed to it,
Right.
certainly not opposed to it.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
pricing was in there for all 3.
Yep.
yeah.
Was the new one that large dumpster one?
It's the AOK.
AOK sanitation is the new one. They used, they had a garbage license, but they just did roll-off service. Well, this year they asked to also add residential, so that's what Karen got the pricing for, the residential on it. So but before then, they were just, the service they provided was just roll-off.
That was the
Now
one
they're
down
doing
the
both.
street from Mike, yeah, I saw it there. Okay, so I know which one you're talking about.
Because for many years, the residential has just been Cressman Sanitation and Novak Sanitation. And in all reality, I think they got the majority of the town, but IOK was gonna try to see if they can get customer base, I guess, so.
Sure. Okay. All right. If that should change, I guess, just bring it to Arden's attention and
Yeah, I'm gonna say, like, put in my email, I guess if somebody wants it on an agenda to discuss or, let him know.
So I got a question on that, Arden. Not Arden, I'm sorry, am I calling you Arden? You're the younger, better looking version.
I did get my hair cut today, hoping you wouldn't notice.
Looks good, that looks good. So, and I've brought this up a couple times, so obviously with like open meeting laws and those things, and I've been on record with this, it's always been my concern, because, you know, we get the weekly updates and that's fine, I like that. So, you know, just so we don't go into violation of that, because there's obviously some new laws passed, I think it was in 2025 passed with that. So my idea with the BCC, and Tom, maybe you can help articulate this. So when you send out a BCC email, so it's a blind carbon copy, like let's say if you're to send out to the council, I have a question, I hit reply, that doesn't go to everybody. That only goes to the sender. So a CC email will go, that's what we do right now. So if you hit reply all, okay, on a CC email, it goes to the entire council. When you do a BCC, when you hit reply, it only goes to the sender.
I would suggest just starting a different email, if you're just gonna communicate with a sender, for example.
Yeah, but if you do, but I'm just saying, but if you do a BCC, because we already,
There might be some validity to wanting the people carboned on the email, you know, to let the rest of the council know that everyone is getting the same information at the same time. And so there is a bit of responsibility there. In the event, and so in your instance, you replied back, but it stopped there. And so really there's that didn't facilitate, in my opinion, no discussion.
I don't
There was
think-
no discussion that was had.
I was trying to intercept and say, don't have discussion.
Yes, right, right.
I just think it's a good practice, a safe practice. You know, so that's my third time I'm going on record saying it. I think it's a good practice.
I just don't like it because you don't really know who's on it.
Right.
Well, if Teresa's sending out something to the council and we have this practice put in place, then you know who's on it. You
You're
know?
assuming, in theory.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I would just hate for something to happen.
We'd have to go way down the rabbit
Yeah, I mean,
hole to-
yeah, there'd have to be a pretty
Yeah,
robust
a
count.
meeting law
Yeah.
violation, I feel.
I don't want
I
to
guess
spend
best
10 minutes on
practice
it,
is
but.
just don't reply.
Yes, right.
I mean, just-
Yeah. I mean, any discussion of merits is gonna potentially be a violation.
Right, right. Here's a factual email sent to this group. You reply with, you know, whatever.
So you can reply to one or two people and be fine, right?
Yeah, I mean, discussion amongst you,
Right.
there's not a quorum.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
that's the critical part.
Okay. It's good to at least talk about it, just a reminder.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, sure.
All right. Any further? Nope. Okay, moving on. New business, review chamber application for economic development funds. This is presented to us by by Jill.
Yes, Megan.
So Jill's requesting $25,000 out of the $100,000 that are earmarked for economic development. And this has to do with some lights along the bike trail, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
just the portion that goes through Turtle Creek
Yeah.
for right now.
So from Fighter to,
Through the to the dog park, and so a little bit falls on West Central's property. And then it ends before it enters the state highway property.
Yeah, it kind of goes through, Turtle Creek Park, and then it'll go on West Central's property by the
Across the
soccer
road.
fields, and then stop at the highway. It won't go down the highway portion.
Right.
And that's kind of more or less to do with the state's restrictions and their upcoming projects.
Yeah.
right.
Is there a map in here? Where is that?
It's.
The map was in the
It
email.
is, it did copy.
And it was.
Oh,
it's-
sorry.
It's,
I
it's,
have a color. Do you want to see this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
it's many shades of gray.
Yeah, she sent an uncolored one to me, so
Oh,
it
it's
doesn't
because
copy.
I did it through the copier.
You can do color, color through the copy.
I apologize.
It's 7/10 of a mile, or 3,696 feet. 36 light fixtures along there, so one about every 100 feet. Which would not fully illuminate that path. I'm assuming it would create some pockets of light.
Yeah, just get
Very
some.
dark.
It's so dark,
Yeah.
and there's no tree cover along it, so it would be able to.
I think it's a great idea. I mean, I sent an email to Arden, probably 4 years ago about some solar lights because it creates a lot of ambiance, right?
Mhm.
When you have that,
Yeah, it's
it
very
extends,
homey. Yeah,
it extends people's time to walk and recreate and feel safe.
yes.
I think there's a lot of pros to it, so.
And it's a very, I agree, it's a very used path.
Yes.
I had one, this is just a citizen, and I had a pretty robust conversation, but just a couple questions.
Okay.
I think the light poles are a phenomenal idea. I saw this, I was like, this is phenomenal. Now I can walk out there at night and not
Yeah.
feel like, I'm gonna get attacked. So on the banner arms, because right now on Main Street, those are just, I would call single banner arms.
Yes.
Right? And so these are the double, so you can do 2 banners
Yes.
on each side. And so like I said, I don't really have a strong opinion on this, but when I have a constituent reach out with questions, I'm like, I don't know, I'll ask. So are you, the chamber, are you guys gonna be able to fill up those banners and get the spot? Because it's a lot of banners, so,
It
because
is.
it's, how many, it's 20, you're gonna be putting up how many light poles?
So there would be 36 on this stretch. The proposal is for 50 lights, so we could do a future expansion. Like, for instance, if they're doing the walking trails out to Swenson Park, again, not a ton of lighting, not a ton of tree coverage. It'd be a great spot to add more lights as well, just for consistency. But the goal of it would be that we would have, just like with the Veterans Banner Program, there would be points in the year where certain programs would go up on those banners. But for other portions of the year, there would be one banner that was like the city logo on each light pole, just for city branding. And then the other one, it would just depend on what we're doing at that time. If we're wanting for it to be businesses, events, we talked about expanding the Veterans Banner Program, working with the school district to do something with the seniors in May, if we have enough lights that offer us enough banner space to put the seniors up for like the month of May. And then there would be a portion of the year where everything would have to come down just due to weather, because the winter is just awfully harsh on the banners, and that winter wind, when it gets so cold, it would just deteriorate the banners so quickly. So there would be, November to probably February where there wouldn't be any banners.
So it's a lot of, so, and like I said, this is just
Yeah,
discussion.
definitely.
So there's 72 banners, which is a lot.
Availability, yes.
Availability, right?
Yes.
What is, just out of curiosity, what is the price difference between a single banner arm versus the double banner arm?
You know what, I could get back to you on that. just
I don't,
because-
yeah, I was just
Well,
curious.
he ran several different quotes for me, and the original one had them, like the ones downtown, and so that was many quotes ago. I kind of just, that email is very far down on my email list, because we specifically wanted the double so that we could always have a city banner up on one.
You guys will typically sell those spots, right?
Yes, so this,
Okay.
a big part of this was just, we've had this discussion with the council before, making sure the chamber is looking for ways to be more self-sustainable.
Yep.
The Veterans Banner Program went over really well, and we sold those 12 banners within like 48 hours. And there was a lot of interest for people that didn't even hear about it until the banners were up. And so being able to expand it, we might not get 36 or 72, but we might get, 20 more. And so it helps us grow it and have it available for residents to actually see and know that things are going on. So maybe not right away, but again, it's just for us to look for future ways to bring revenue to the chamber through programs that we can pay for. I mean, ultimately, the city owns the lights, they're on your property, so that's why we want to do this as a partnership, and both have skin in the game on it, but we would maintain the banners as needed.
I'm glad you brought that up because it seems, I don't have any specs on the poles.
Oh, you don't.
Are they pretty similar to what we have here?
Okay, yes, so they're exactly like these poles out here, with the exception of, with Craig's.
There was the estimate that kind of has some specs on the back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit taller to go into the
So
ground.
we're gonna actually, if this goes through.
Yes.
The plan is the poles will be one-piece poles, they won't have the base on them.
Yep.
Because that base is welded, and we've had 3 of them crack and break because of the wind with the banners and the weights of the flowers on them, that stuff. So the plan is, this goes through, and it's gonna cost another, a little over $2,000 to do it right. We're gonna sink each one down, we're gonna auger down a 12-inch hole, down to 4 foot, so we get below the frost level, so we don't have to worry about them moving. And then plus, we're gonna have a pad poured around them, so we can mow around them with the mowers and that stuff, without having to worry about hitting them or weed whipping around them, trying to do all that stuff. And then we're looking at putting a sleeve inside, like you do with flag poles, so you just put a
You can
sleeve in
replace it
there.
if you need to.
Set the post, put sand around it, pack it, so that if it gets hit, breaks, we can pull it out and replace it easy enough, so.
Yeah. That was my concern is I want to make sure it's a spec
Right.
light fixture, right? That is widely accepted by municipalities as this is an approved solar light, because we don't want it to become a burden on our city staff for maintenance
Absolutely.
purposes. We don't want it to be a safety hazard if there's, cracking of bases and it's not noticed, and we have a liability issue at that point. And so I think exactly what you mentioned, Craig, is very similar to what I witnessed at the Spearfish City Park. It was one pole, they sunk them in, they could easily be replaced in the event they needed to be, but they were, they had a large solar panel. There's some of those concerns, like, I don't have any specs on the size of the solar panel, but what's the battery life? At what point do we gotta come back and start changing these batteries? How much extra work does it add to city staff? And so those are just some questions I have. Ultimately, I would like Craig to sign off on them, but not feel pressured
Right.
to sign off on them. And if we need to go a different direction with that solar light, then here again, maybe it's all public money, essentially. So maybe if we throw a little extra at it, it saves us a lot of headache for the next 15, 20 years.
Are the downtown ones solar?
The ones that she spec'd, they're just like the ones downtown. They are solar panel, they do have a solar panel up on the very top of the light, but that's also the photo eye. That's why some of these don't turn on, because they got the lights up above and that keep them shut down.
Sure.
Shouldn't be an issue out there.
Shouldn't be an issue out there, because
Yeah.
and it needs a bed here for 3 years, 4 years probably. And so
Yeah.
they've been holding in there pretty good.
Yeah.
These ones?
Yeah.
Longer.
And the solar lights, I
Yeah.
think that I was thinking of were much more of almost a street light from a size standpoint and the width of the light that it threw, and you could get the optics. The last thing we want to do too is have the residents along that area complain about
So much light.
the light, because there's
We
a way
also
to.
want enough light on the trail.
Yeah, you want it to be a downlight, right?
Yeah,
You don't-
downlight,
You
yeah.
don't want it to be,
I guess take a look at these two out here and just every look at them once at nighttime and just see what you think.
well, I haven't heard a lot of good about them lately, other than they look good. They're to the point in their life where there's more maintenance now that's been required of them, and so that's what I just want to be aware of
Well,
that, have that
and-
discussion.
Hanging those plants from them probably don't help either. I mean, that's another.
Yeah, and one other, and
And swinging around.
The thing I look for UL listing, are they UL listed? Are they spec, what's the specs on them? Do they meet some similar city standard we have for streetlights? If we don't have a city standard for solar streetlights, maybe we need to get one, so that,
right,
in the future,
not putting junk in.
Half lights.
yeah, those sorts of things.
And one thing, and I think this is much more of a robust conversation, because I think I'm totally in favor of putting lights out there, but it's just something, I'm looking 5, 10 years down the road, like Travis said with that, is like, even if we found a better product, we had to pay a little bit more. And I was just thinking, so I went and I looked at those arms up there
Yeah.
today, and then I looked at the arms and I'm like, okay, there's not a lot here. Now, it fits into the aesthetics of the light. If you look at those arms, it kind of ties in.
Yeah.
I was like, man, 25,000 for these man arms. I'm sure the manufacturer's making a lot of money. They have to make money. I get that. And I was just thinking like, man, I wonder if Beaverville could manufacture something, match up that. I'm just thinking outside the box. Is there a way
They're
to?
aluminum, so Beaverville would.
Okay, so those lights are aluminum.
But I am looking at this, and if this is the one that we're looking at for 52,000, I don't see lights on these.
They do. On the invoice, they should be on there.
Fluted, okay, it's fluted poles, so I see the
That's
poles.
50 of those, 200 of the banner arms.
Banner
which
arms,
would be
decorative
400.
base.
I can re-email him and just, because the previous, I've updated this packet since the original invoice, which I know had the LED like specifically on there. So it may have just been when he updated this for the direct bury that it might have gotten removed. I can reach out to him and get that
And
updated.
then one other quick question, Jill. Did the group look at any other vendors for lights? Or is this,
So-
hey, we bought it for before, so we're gonna call them? Did we look at any other vendors for lights?
So we have not, but partially it was just for the continuity of if we ever tied into downtown Hartford's and continue the lights going down Main
Yeah.
Avenue just for consistency.
It's the same company that you
Yep,
said.
it
so
is.
I
It's the
think,
same
yeah,
company
yeah.
as the ones that are down here.
I think you're not getting another invoice on it, because that invoice for 52,000 is not showing the.
Okay, I'll pull it. Yeah, that's fine.
No, I think we're headed down the right path.
No pun intended.
Ba-dum-bum.
I think lighting up
Glad you
those,
picked up on that.
that path and then the
Great
new
idea.
path is a fantastic idea.
Yes.
All right. It's not a no, it's not a yes. But it's a thank you for bringing this to our attention and allowing us to start to have some discussion on it.
Yep.
And I look forward to seeing it again with some more information.
Okay.
Because again, we just want to make sure it's the right thing.
Can,
It's a large amount of money.
can I get like a list of like the specific things that they wanted, that you guys wanted clarification on, just so that I'm not missing anything?
Between Teresa and Craig, they should.
Well, I'm sure Justin's ears perked up too. When we started talking about specs and city, you know.
I think definitely updated code and specs
Yeah.
on the lights for sure, those two things.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any grants out there. I don't know. There's grants for a lot of things.
Yeah, maybe we should include them in our new trend.
I think it's been a long time in coming, and so we just want to make sure we do it.
Hey, she brought up a good point. Hey, no, I'm bringing that up. It's not my idea. I'm giving you credit. But with our new trail going on, because that 80/20 grant, they'll cover 80% of the cost, Justin. Is that just for the construction of the trail, or can we add lights in that? Because your engineering fees are paid out of that, right? Can we?
It's a safety issue.
It's a safety.
I'd have to look at the grant specific,
Try.
If I would say right offhand, I'd say just the trail, but we can try and look.
The answer's always no if we don't,
Like
yeah.
I said, don't know until, yeah, you know, so, don't know until you know. I'll check into it.
That was Cindy's idea. I want that to go on the record. I've got a few of them, but that's only about 3 times a year.
Okay.
Thank
Sounds
you,
good.
Jill.
Yeah, thank you,
You
Jill.
guys gonna table this, or just no action?
We're gonna take no action.
That's the council's choice how to proceed, I guess. How to proceed.
I would make a
Take no
motion
action.
to table it.
So, but then you gotta select.
I guess you don't need a motion.
If we don't take any action.
I'm taking that motion back, Tom.
Or you don't have to, it just dies for lack of
Yeah.
a second, would be another option.
There we go.
Another way to go.
That shouldn't be perceived as a no.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not
Thank
another.
you. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you. There's no second, that motion dies for lack of a second.
Perfect.
So yes, based on that conversation, I would hope to see this with some more information at our next council meeting, which I won't be here for, and I'd love to talk about.
What's that?
Lighting can be included.
Lighting can be included.
Oh, okay.
Very
that's
good.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
It's called Cindy.
You quarterly.
All right, moving on to our next item of new business, the review and approve the preliminary plans for 38 North development. All right, I'm in the wrong package. There it is.
So this is the development east of Maple Pass that the Jans Corp is proposing to do. This is gonna be a residential development, no commercial in it. The lots are kind of larger lots, I think most are half acre or more, the lots. They do have an open space contribution, there's a larger one kind of in the middle of it that could be a future park. This is what we've talked about having there, you know, for future equipment or whatnot for the area. That is an area pointed out in our plan that needs it. They have submitted their, like I said, preliminary plans to the city. It's gone through the P&Z board and now it's come to you. There are a few comments, ISG has reviewed it, and there are a few comments they have given to Jan's. Most of the comments are basic, just changing a few things, which they've agreed to do. They're very minor. Probably the biggest comment is, right now, Jan's would like to turn over the detention ponds for the development to the city. And our stance is we don't take them on, and we don't have anything in place really to, take on detention ponds.
What does it mean to turn them over? Like, we would be in charge of the maintenance of that? Is that
Right.
the-
Correct.
Right,
No, because we haven't done that for any other residential development,
and we haven't done that to this
or
point.
any commercial development. We've never done that.
We've got one,
I'm gonna say,
Cressman's, that we have taken over years ago. They have asked to take it over, and that is the one and only that we've done.
Yeah, and so I'm fully on board, and I've argued that case as well, and then
On board with taking it on?
I'm on board with what you're saying,
Okay.
Sean, and I've been of that opinion. And then in the next, to play devil's advocate here, you have to ask yourself as a developer, if I'm perpetually required to maintain this detention pond, what does that look like for me as a developer?
It's an HOA fee.
Let's say the developer goes bankrupt. What happens to the detention pond? What happens if how do you force the developer to clean it up? At what point is there, I'm just, again,
Yeah.
playing some hypotheticals here. It'd be like saying, we're never gonna maintain your streets because that's your development.
We've had a lot of
Like I
discussion.
said, we've had a lot of discussion.
I know one thing, and I'm not for taking them over, but one benefit about the city taking them over is that we can start the cleanup and maintenance on a yearly basis instead of letting them get completely out of control,
Yeah.
where you got trees growing in them and you can't get in to work them anymore.
Yeah.
That's the only benefit that I really see of it.
So.
The
I'll say-
detriment, I would say too, is when you have a adjacent property owner standing here wanting us to clean up their waterway, and we can't because it's not city property, it's private property.
Had that
Think of
issue.
Matthias's, right?
We've had that issue.
So that's kind of what started to change my approach or my thinking on this. Just something to consider.
So like at Knapp's Landing, for example, so they have I guess I call that, is that a detention pond in the center there?
NAPS is a retention.
That's a
It's
retention.
designed to retain water, and that becomes a water
And
feature.
those people around that
Yes.
pay a fee.
The people that butt up to
Take
that
care of it.
property take care of
They
that.
take
So
care
this
of
is a detention pond. I guess explain that to me like I'm a 5-year-old. That detains water.
someplace for it to drain.
Maybe going back a little bit, so I think this is a good conversation, we've been having a lot of conversation on it recently, and I think the city's at a point where, there's more development, so more of the common practices on some of the larger cities are being asked to do the same. You guys are at the size where you should really consider, when to make that move and some of those effects of that move. So Travis and Craig hit on some good ones. There's an email in your guys' council report too that highlights some of those pros and cons. But stormwater management in a whole, you can have a wet detention basin, which you're going to get some water quality aspects from it. So that water's going to go into, call it a bowl that has a wet pond, total suspended solids, so all your particulate sediments are going to be able to settle out, and then that water's going to be able to go to the adjacent waterway. The benefits of that water is cleaner than what it was when it came in. The other method is the dry detention basin, which is pretty common around town, so that doesn't have that standing water pool. Just have to be critical on the design of those bottoms, don't stay wet, otherwise you have issues with mosquitoes and cattails and that maintenance that we have seen in some of those areas, right? Generally, water goes in there, it's retained during that storm event to manage the runoff. We had some conversations earlier this year with stormwater runoff, maintaining that release rate. That's all that practice does. So that's kind of the basis of it. When we look at stormwater management as a city, if the city were to retain those, the big thing is that consistency of maintenance and performance. You guys control it, you guys maintain it, it's kind of up to you guys. That enforcement, it reduces that, city trying to enforce something and it not getting taken care of. But there's also a good perspective with long-term planning, right? So if the city is going to own and maintain these and take a more proactive approach like the Parks Master Planning and really start to identify where we can get these regional detention basins, that helps more of an area versus a single parcel, right? So look at more of a watershed aspect. One of the biggest cons is, that maintenance cost and the direct costs to the city. some liability and risk, so city assumes full liability, some of that structural failure, that'll go back to some design standards, so just making sure that design standards are really rigid for that, rigid within degree, right? Just making sure that we don't over-design it, but make sure it's adequate. And then that long-term capital replacement cost. So my recommendation, to the city council, if you guys were looking to entertain on taking the stance on starting to receive those detention basins as part of the development, that ISG and city staff work together to present a funding mechanism. That way the city can generate funds to, have the necessary maintenance and some of that studies.
Explain that, because when I hear that, I hear,
Yep. So there's a lot of different ways that you could do it, and what we would do would present several different options. So
Like what, though? Give me an
some of
example.
the communities adjacent to here, let's specifically say Harrisburg, they do have a citywide drainage assessment fee. So it's based on essentially your lot zoning type and your lot area. So it's applied to every resident across the city. An industrial area with higher impervious area is going to be taxed, for lack of a better term, a higher assessment fee. Think of it very similar to street assessment, right? So every year there's going to be assessment, we'll talk about it, we'll analyze it, and make sure there's enough revenue being generated to take care of the maintenance fees. City of Sioux Falls does have something similar to that, but they also do get some drainage fees through their plating fees as well, right? So that's very much on a development by development basis.
They charge some outrageous plating fees,
You are not wrong about that.
just an FYI.
interesting.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of developing in the city of Hartford too, so. But in that instance, that takes, that funding mechanism in that area where that development is taking place to pay for some of that maintenance. In some preliminary conversations, it seems like that would be likely the direction to head, because it's not putting some of that burden on the existing homeowners in town, and especially if we're implementing it now, we're only going to accept stuff moving forward. It would be likely to find a healthy balance on.
Right, so like if somebody lives on the way west side of town,
Yeah,
and let's say the city were to take ownership of this detention pond, right, is that the word, detention pond, words, sorry?
Retention.
No, it's a detention. This is a detention, right?
without getting too much into the weeds, we
Detention.
could just go with
Okay.
detention, yeah.
So like, people that aren't in that development should not be paying for that thing. I think, I just wonder if there's so if we took ownership of it, the city would essentially pay, right? Would pay for the engineering costs of this pond?
No,
So the developer would take care of all the costs for that, and then after that development's done, then the city would essentially accumulate or take on that
Yep.
cost.
yep,
We have a design standard for streets, we have the same thing for
Correct. So it's just like
detention
putting in a
ponds.
road.
just like your public
Okay.
utilities, yeah.
I never thought of
But
that.
then you could assess a fee to the residents of that development going forward.
But you wouldn't, is what she said is true.
Well, if you, some
There's
some
different
cities
ways
do
of
it
doing
across
it.
the
Yeah,
city,
there's a
few
some
of us
cities do it in
Don't
the
agree with
development.
doing it citywide.
Yeah.
We think it should be development.
Yeah, if we did something, this should be specific development, right? Because if you have 99% of your
Because
residents.
it's not fair to people on Main Street.
Exactly.
Develop somewhere else, because, you know,
I'll play devil's advocate here too, and that, with that train of thought, is if I have a higher cost to develop an area, that could create leapfrogging over less desirable areas for development because of these costs with detention ponds. And so to play devil's advocate, I think if you apply it equally across every citizen, because ultimately we all benefit from that development.
That's a
just
pretty
that'd
far
be a-
leapfrog in my opinion.
that'd
I'm
be
playing
a-
devil's
a pro.
advocate. That,
I mean, for the same reason that a paved street in front of your house benefits me and I don't live on your street,
yeah.
it's a benefit to the city as a whole. Streetlights.
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Pathways.
discussion on these here,
Yeah, the problem is with, you know, I would agree with that. I guess I'll play devil, or I'll push back in a friendly way, of course, is I think if you try and tax an assessment fee onto everybody, they're not gonna see the same benefit as using a street. They're like, what is this? Not saying that it doesn't have functionality with that, you know, But there, you know, me driving my golf cart down Part T, there's a much bigger benefit that I see and feel versus,
You have some
here's this detention pond up on these million, you know, these,
Yeah.
these properties up
You have some
there.
issues that develop in the rears if you look at Kelly Point,
Right,
you know,
right.
where had that come for development today, that area would have probably had a detention pond required to deal with that water. And so it is, you know, let's just say it was skipped over because it was not a very desirable property because of the water mitigation issues. I think I worry it could create some cherry picking of parcels around your community when you're trying to just develop in a controlled manner.
So I never thought I would, it's just an interesting thing we never thought about. So typically, what we've done is that the developer maintains it, so the benefit to the city would be obviously the aesthetics, right? So we have more control on the aesthetics of it. Is there a benefit to the city, and maybe the aesthetics plays a role into the functionality of it, right? Because if you have it, I'm trying to see like, okay, if the developer, if there's an HOA and the developer's paying for it, they have a benefit to keeping that thing functional, right? They would have a benefit to that.
What if they've gone broke?
So let's say if they do go broke, then I would say that we can address it at that point in time. Then we can go to the developer saying, hey, we're gonna maintain this.
But does it become a burden on the city to have to start to pay legal fees to get that land deeded over or get it purchased? Whereas if it were deeded over to us on the front end, now we can plan for it proactively, and we can start to set X amount of dollars aside based on square footage of detention ponds in the community, and Craig can bring us a number at budget time and says, hey, I think I'm gonna need $50,000 this year for detention pond maintenance, and we can just proactively attack it.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Absolutely.
Please.
So this is for all development going forward. It would be that have detention ponds, that the city would be owning those detention ponds and maintaining. We are not picking, oh, we'll do it for this developer, but no, not this developer, and we're not a fan of that side. This is all future development going forward.
It will
That
be
would be a
interesting because it's not the
council.
first time we've been asked.
Yeah, that will be a council decision.
And-
My recommendation, from my end would be able to, our end, help provide you guys a system that can be consistent across the board, because I think that gets very tough when you.
Because that leads me to my next questions then, that as we continue and Hartford develops, and then there's continued detention ponds that are obtained by the city, that increases the dollar amount every single time more development comes, which increases the percentage of cost to whether it's all the taxpayers or in this development or in this development. So it can continue to just keep increasing as development happens and we are owning more and more detention ponds. Okay, next. So we're not looking at going backwards to anybody we have denied taking over detention ponds, or we did not, they wanted it done and we said no.
I mean, that's something down the road, we could tell them that if they bring it up to the standards of our new standards, that we would take it over at that time. So that's something the council could always decide to add.
How many do you think there are in town?
I was just trying to think,
That was gonna be another one, or how many detention ponds do we have, and do we have examples of badly maintained detention ponds?
three or four.
Which ones, which ones come to mind for you?
Yeah,
One's coming up the golf
We actually
course,
have
of course, on Sagehorn back there,
Yeah, but
behind the tees.
Oh,
That's a waterway,
Oh, that's not a retention.
it's not a detention pond.
okay.
Well, there's a detention pond on the golf course, which is the golf course's property.
I was
That's
gonna say,
a-
detention ponds, the golf
That's a
course. is
retention
fine.
pond.
So that's just a
That
waterway.
definitely
So
retains.
waterways are not the same as a plan.
No, we're not talking about
in that
waterways.
area behind Sagehorn there, that's all private property that is supposed to be a drainage ditch, basically, it's not a detention.
So I can think
So
of
where are there
Crestman's, the
other
only other
ones?
ones I can think of are the new, in the HEB
Yeah, and that's,
development.
and they've got that set up where there's a fee.
Yeah.
HOA fee essentially to
So you
maintain
do
that.
have one at Mickelson and Western, right there, that little thing that Tamman put in years ago, and if you look at that, that's always full of garbage and tall grass weeds. The other half of Crestman's
North of
is a
Dairy Queen.
detention area, and if you, the part that the city owns, we try to take care of, but the other section's not McCacktails. And then Assom's Addition's got one over there. I can't think of any other ones.
And is Assom's,
See, with Blue Tide would be,
is theirs maintained?
that's not a development, that's more of a private, I mean, so that's one thing
We
you have
can't
to think
confuse
about.
B and P
Yeah, take
ponds
it over.
We have to think
with
about-
detention ponds.
Yep.
Detentions are for, in my opinion, again, good discussion, detentions are for a whole development, not a parcel.
Yep.
A B and P pond, like at the get and go.
Yep, and then you got that again going, you've got a Black Tide, you know.
Yeah, like I say, you've got just individual parcels that have,
Central
but they
States.
own that, I mean, it's theirs.
But I think the thing to consider on that, like the devil's advocate on that aspect, if you start looking at, you know, developing 40 acres, 80 acres, 120 acres at a time, that is very much the use of, say, like a Blue Tide, right? So a developer is probably going to look at a regional detention basin and then come to you guys and say, you know, hey, do you want to take that over? It's the same concept, same principle as if, you know, stormwater management practice would be put on that smaller 5-acre parcel or, you know, 2-acre parcel. So I think that's some of the conversation, you know, if the city is owning it, you do have a little bit more of that control to try to get those regionalized. That way you have less to maintain, because I do see an economy of scale. Instead of having 3 small ones, having one that you can maintain and focus on, it's just one trip to the mower, do it, knock it out quick. But maybe to go back on one of your questions with the like cost increase, ideally we would set a system up where you don't see that continued increase on every user. As you add users to it, it spreads out that cost, right? So you new development area in town, so whether those fees are being paid by that development, you know, it's taken care of there, or if you are spreading it across town, when you have that basin, you're adding more users to that. That way that base is still pretty consistent. Now, with inflation, everything going up, you would have a general increase, but I would hope not to see like a 50% increase, 100% increase if, you know, 100 acres gets developed here, there, the other thing. The other thing to consider as a community, I worked a lot with this in central Iowa, and it was a really cool concept. When we do talk about retention basins with a water base to it, and we do look at this regional aspect, you can get a larger drainage area that is going to an area. You can have a wet pond, and then partner with game fishing parks to stock that and have it utilized as a community amenity for a fishing pond in these
Put some
developments.
trout in there.
Yeah, so Game Fish Parks does have a program where they will partner with communities. It's, you know, put in take is what they call it. So they put fish in there that are, you know, super size, so whether it's trout, bluegill, crappie, whatever it may be. Pretty much stock it for free for that amenity, so.
Are there any other smaller comparable size towns that do this? Where this is how they deal with new development that comes
You're saying
through?
that they take on the detention basins, so.
That we can compare to?
Yeah.
And what they do within
Absolutely.
their,
Yeah, and I would
like
look
not
at.
Sioux Falls, but.
Right, so the communities around us, you know, Sioux Falls, Metro, you know, Harrisburg, Brandon, they're all implementing some of those things and taking those over. Now, they're a little bigger than Hartford, right, but I think we can look at some of those as examples and tracks of moving forward.
Do you know how the majority of them field out the cost?
Yep.
It's on page 90.
90.
There is some information that I just kind of threw out that simple question. Who takes over detention ponds? Do you or not you, and do you have a fee associated? Now, this doesn't have any detail. We'd have to actually do some more research and, yeah, reach out to the city, like, do you take them over? When do you, kind of get those questions. When do you take them over? You know, is it this regional.
Madison doesn't, which is
And
surprising.
do you have costs and how do you, who pays those costs and whatnot? So I think that's part of what we'd like to do is dig into it a little more and see what some other cities are doing and come up with some different scenarios for you guys to talk about some more, just continue the conversation, yeah. And kind of just gather some more information, because I think it's gonna take a few
Still got a lot to
conversations.
process,
I said,
yeah.
I think it's a process,
I
it's
think
gonna
it's
take a
probably
few
good.
conversations.
Have you asked all of your questions, Michelle?
Yes.
Anybody else have any
I
questions?
don't have a question, I just have one point to make on that, because this is more of a robust, I would like to see a cost forecast, if we were to take it over, like, what does it look like? And
Yeah, I said that I think has to be
Yeah.
all part of.
how much money are we budgeting every year?
We gotta
for the next
remember,
5
Craig's
years?
not gonna be here forever.
The other-
I understand that.
The thing about with the budget, thing about with budgeting these,
Are we going into
is
executive
it a
after
wet
this?
year or is it a dry year? You know, if it's a
Yeah,
wet
that's
year,
true
we can
too. I
grind or
mean, it's-
bone. If it's a wet year, you know, that's where you'd also have to have it in there that the city can maintain them to the best of their ability, you know, whatever, something. So if the grass is starting to get this tall, then we're not getting complaints about it, you know?
Yeah.
So there'd be a lot to think about on maintenance and everything.
There would have to be some policies put in place and some standards and, there's a lot of
So-
stuff we're gonna have to look at.
How does this impact us approving this?
So at this point, so in their plans, their preliminary plans, they basically state that they want the city to take over the detention ponds. And I don't think we're to that point, because we have to have these conversations first. So in order to move ahead, I think you can prove it contingent that they addressed our engineers' comments. And our engineers' comments basically say, at this point, we don't take over the detention ponds. But that still allows us to continue having these discussion on it. And if we decide to take it over in whatever manner that may be, if we do, if we don't, you know, we can, you know, move on from there. But,
Yeah, page 73 in our packet.
I'd make a motion to approve the preliminary plan for 38 North Development contingent to the engineer comments being addressed.
I've got a question on that, but I don't know if I can ask that before a second.
Let's wait for a
So,
second.
I don't have to?
Let's wait for a second.
Okay. My second is contingent upon possibly giving a second.
You can vote no.
I'm not, no,
I'll second.
So just to be clear, what your motion is approving the plans contingent upon, we're not making a decision whether we're taking on the detention ponds. We're not making that decision right now, is that correct?
That's correct.
And engineer comments are what, page 90, correct?
Yes.
I was up at page 73.
Yeah.
So the comment to pay attention to.
Page
Ownership and
80, start on
maintenance.
page 88.
Ownership and maintenance of improvements. Developer requests the city of Hartford to assume ownership of green space and detention ponds included in the development. It is staff recommendation that these be maintained and owned by the developer.
Okay. And then the other thing is we have sidewalks on these roads, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Knowing that information, I would have done a second.
Once I was like, well,
All right. Any further discussion?
that's my question.
Motion has been made and seconded. Hearing none, I'll call the vote. Mattson?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Shelley?
Yes.
Parashah?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Thank you. All right, moving on, review approve abatement for parcels 943 and 223,651.
as in previously, these come through the county. One is an abatement for a permanent until a disabled veteran, and then the other one is actually for an assessment freeze.
Don't see that very often.
No, well, because usually if they file all their paperwork on time, it's just automatic. With this one, they didn't get their paperwork in on time, so now they gotta go through this
Oh, okay,
process.
okay.
So,
We approve them together. I would make a motion to approve the tax abatements for parcel 90043 and parcel 23651.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Schilling.
Yes.
Rocek.
Yes.
Bowen.
Yes.
Mattson.
Yes.
And I'm a yes. All right. Do we need to go into executive session for, I'd like to go into executive session for economic development. Do we have anything other?
Personnel.
And personnel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Make a motion to go to executive session for personnel and economic development.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I would like to thank you guys for the raises, that was very much appreciated.
Still, I saw the label.
Yellow phone.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.